Conor McGregor is one of the most divisive figures in the combat sports world, having just left the USADA pool in what some believe is to use illegal steroids to help him recover. Personalities from around MMA have had their say on the controversial Irish superstar. Today, we are discussing Joe Rogan and TJ Dillashaw's comments on Conor in the wake of the Irishman removing himself from the USADA testing pool. Stay with us. First up, Conor has had his say on his favorite UFC moment of the year. McGregor hasn't been seen in an octagon for 18 months as he continues his recovery from the broken leg sustained in the third Dustin Poirier fight. But that doesn't mean he hasn't been enjoying the year's fights as a fan like the rest of us. As the end of the year approaches, personalities around the sport are voting on things like Knockout of the Year and Submission of the Year. But one particular performance stands out above all else for the Irishman. Leon Edwards' highlight reel KO of then-champion Kamaru Usman holds a special place in the heart of McGregor, with both men sharing the same management company. Edwards became welterweight king after a head kick for the ages knocked Usman out in the final round of their fight over the summer. And McGregor believes the performance was easily the best of the year, saying, "Stop the nonsense, comeback of the year. This is everything of the year, bar none," about the Englishman's epic win. He added, "The timing of the commentary, the timing of the fight, the shot itself, the KO, the ramifications, the post-speech, pound for pound headshot. Dead. This lives on. Team Paradigm Sports." Of course, it's no surprise that McGregor tried to make the KO about himself by referencing Paradigm Sports, but there's no getting around the fact that Edwards' KO was pretty special indeed. What was your highlight of the year? Next up, the latest on Conor's court case with Artem Lobov. McGregor is currently in the process of being sued by a former friend, training partner, and teammate, Artem Lobov, who also turned out for the UFC during his MMA career. The Russian is claiming McGregor has reneged on a deal to hand him 5% of the profits from the sale of his proper number 12 whiskey. And today, December 23rd, the High Court in Ireland will judge on claims made by Lobov that McGregor has made defamatory social media posts about him during the course of the legal case. I mean, who hasn't he made disparaging comments about, right? Lobov is accusing McGregor of harassing and intimidating him via Twitter, as McGregor has referred to his former friend as a rat. Lobov wants the court to order McGregor not to publish any further posts under Section 33 of the 2009 Defamation Act. McGregor's counsel has raised concerns over freedom of speech and expression, and also claimed that their status as professional fighters means that trash talk is commonplace. Of course, this is a legal matter, so it's likely the judge will simply discard that defense, and Lobov himself has claimed the posts are highly damaging and also in breach of Twitter's own code of conduct. I mean, is it just me, or is there an easy way to settle this we're all completely ignoring here? Do you think McGregor and Lobov should throw down? Conor has been branded delusional by one UFC fighter now. Stay tuned to hear about it. McGregor is often the architect of some pretty ridiculous opinions and posts on social media, but many people simply brush it off as Conor being Conor. Of course, the Irishman has ballooned up in weight whilst he recovers from his broken leg, and has recently suggested that he could make the move to middleweight. I mean, he was getting slapped at lightweight, so we can only imagine what those guys at 185 would do to him. And Renato Moicano had a similar outlook to us. The UFC lightweight, who recently disposed of Brad Riddell before calling McGregor out, has further stoked the flames between himself and the Notorious by branding him delusional over his plans to move up. Moicano, who gave one of the greatest post-fight speeches of the year after his first-round mauling of Riddell, said, "Middleweight. Imagine being that delusional." McGregor had previously claimed he would be a big fridge at middleweight, seemingly forgetting some of the monsters that call 185 home. He revealed that he has been training with middleweights and light heavyweights, but training and fighting for real are two completely different endeavors. The Irishman also released footage of himself sparring with a light heavyweight in the build-up to the Cerrone fight from 2020, in which he does appear to land a few good shots. However, after 18 months out and with lots more weight on his frame, it's unlikely he would be able to perform like that again. Do you agree with Moicano? Next up, Conor has reflected on the post-fight brawl which erupted after the Khabib fight. Conor took on one of the greatest lightweights of all time in the shape of Khabib Nurmagomedov back in 2018 and was promptly mauled by the Russian, who submitted him in the fourth. You will probably remember Khabib then scaling the fence to launch an attack on McGregor's team, including one Dylan Dennis. McGregor was also set upon in the Octagon by members of Khabib's team in one of the most egregious scenes in a UFC Octagon of all time. Say what you will about Conor, but nobody deserves to be attacked having just fought for your life. And the UFC's security team should have been fired on the spot. Responding to a fan on Twitter who reposted the post-fight melee, Conor pointed out the importance of keeping your wits about you. He was actually able to land a couple of punches and defend himself against two men who were fresh. To his credit, and said of the incident, self-defense is about awareness. Awareness is half the battle. Take no chances. Stay aware. True that. Khabib and his team really should have been banned for life after the appalling incident. But as we all well know, the UFC likes to reward poor behavior. Conor has been called out by one of his old victims next. Stay with us. You might remember the story of Conor punching an old man in a pub after he refused to drink with him a few years back. Well, Desmond Keogh has given his take on Conor's recent comments towards Irish DJ PJ Gallagher. The UFC star reacted poorly after Gallagher jokingly responded to Laura Sanko, referring to him as British, and decided to lament the DJ for his failed marriage and mental health struggles. Ex-Ireland footballer Paul McGrath came to the defense of Gallagher, and Keogh has also had his say on McGregor. The elderly gentleman from the video, who took a shot from McGregor better than some UFC fighters have in the past, said, "Why would he say that?" And mental health is very important. What McGregor said about that was stupid as well. I don't know why anyone would speak about someone else's mental health. There's no reason for it. You're not a very nice person, are you, if you behave like McGregor? The man, PJ Gallagher, was talking about his mental health, probably because he isn't a very nice human being, right? So what did Rogan have to say? The world's most popular podcast host caught the ire of the Notorious recently after claiming that his urine would melt a USADA cup if he were to take a PED test. McGregor responded by appearing to call Rogan out for being around the UFC so long, but never actually taking to the Octagon to fight, despite being an expert Taekwondo practitioner and a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. Rogan is one of the most respected voices in the sport, but he has recently moved to calm the war of words between the pair by actually praising Conor for his achievements inside the Octagon, despite his often repulsive behavior outside of it. Rogan referred to his fight against featherweight GOAT Jose Aldo as part of his greatness, explaining that you need to be a certain type of person to respond to pressure of that kind, adding, "There's very, very, very few of them that have ever walked the face of the earth that can do that in front of that many people, and in that moment, which is built up over months and months and months." Really, years of taunting him, Jose Aldo, but months and months and months. Rogan then referenced McGregor's demeanor in the Octagon during the Aldo fight, praising his mind management by saying, "That's confidence, preparation, intelligence, emotional intelligence. There's so many factors." Whilst Conor is often in situations where he lets himself get wound up outside the Octagon, Rogan's words couldn't be more true. And what did Dillashaw say about McGregor? Well, you might have heard that former bantamweight king TJ Dillashaw has recently retired, and speaking to Brendan Schaub on his Food Truck Diaries, where he discussed all sorts of things about his own retirement, Dillashaw seemingly went to bat for Conor, revealing that he doesn't believe the Notorious is doing anything wrong by leaving the USADA testing pool. TJ suggested that Conor's claims of removing himself from testing was simply to heal, but many believe he is taking some time out to use illegal substances and will then re-add himself to the USADA pool when he is fully fit. And if that is the case, TJ has no problem with it. He told Schaub, "We don't have an off-season. We don't get an off-season. We're tested 365 days a year. You don't get time to heal. You don't get these downtimes." The former bantamweight king then went on to explain that McGregor is in movies and doing all sorts of different things, but this shouldn't simply allow him to use illegal substances when nobody else can. However, TJ doubled down by saying he's not doing anything wrong, also claiming that he won't be allowed to fight with those things in his system, adding, "So he's not gonna have any kind of advantage from taking what he's taking. All he's doing is healing." Sounds like drug cheats all have each other's backs, am I right? As always, thanks for dropping in on us today, and remember to stop by again next time when we will be discussing loads more fun bits and pieces. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on more great content. Bye, guys.